Hi, I'm Garmbreak1, and this is Midgardia's cool crowdfunding show. I'm here today with Alan Barr. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you today?
I'm pretty well. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about Tiny Cthulhu?
Sure. So Tiny Cthulhu is the latest iteration in the Tiny D6 rule set system. It's a minimalist RPG, and obviously this one deals with the Lovecraftian mythos and all the cosmic horror elements.
Cool. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about Tiny D6? I'm not personally familiar, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem at all. So Tiny D6 operates on a really simple system. You just need three six-sided dice. So the average item is the test. So if you want to do something, you roll 2d6. On a 5 or 6, you've accomplished the task. If you have advantage, you roll 3. If you have disadvantage, you roll 1. That's it. Your character fits on a little 3 by 5 note card. It's super simple, super straightforward.
Well, that sounds cool. And this is not nearly the first project that you've done with the Tiny D6 system. You've got, like, what, five other books for it, I think? Somewhere in
We
there?
have five major genre books, and we have a bunch of smaller splat books as well as our monthly e-zine, things like that.
That's super cool. So, what makes Tiny Cthulhu distinct, or like what advantages does it have over the many other Cthulhu Mythos based games that are out there right now?
I don't think really any one game has an advantage over others. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, right? So Tiny D6 is the rule set is very accessible. It's very straightforward. It's easy to teach. You can make a character in under 5 minutes if you on the first time. So I would say it's just a different niche, right? It's a different approach to the genre, and I think that's awesome. There's lots of great Cthulhu games. I play many of them, so I don't think any are better than others per se.
That's fair. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the micro settings that you've got in the stretch goals here for Tiny Cthulhu?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So micro settings are a Gallant Night game Kickstarter tradition with the Tiny D6 games. We've done them since our first one. What they are is they're small 6 to 10 page high level overviews of the various settings that showcase the different ways you can use the rule set. But they're designed to sort of be a launching pad or a springboard to doing your own campaign. So they won't have like complicated adventures or plots, but it'll have a bunch of plot hooks, a bunch of ideas to kind of get you going so you can make it your own.
Cool. And yeah, you guys have plenty of experience doing Kickstarters. I think this is actually the second one from your company that we've had on here. We had Sagas and Six Guns a while back.
Yeah, yep, with Robert Bucky.
Yeah, as a this is quite an interesting setting. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so who have you got doing all the art? Because it looks wonderful. What's on the Kickstarter page?
So the cover art was done by Tom Brown. He's the illustrator of a comic I really like called Hopeless Maine. And then the interior art's done by Nicholas Giacondino. He's done a lot. He does most of our tiny games on the inside. He's a fantastic artist.
Yeah, it's really cool and very much fits the general aesthetic of Lovecraftian stuff. Uh,
Yeah, he's a big fan, so he was really able to lean into it and came out really good.
yeah. So what have you got for stretch goals aside from the couple of micro settings?
So we've unlocked about 6 micro settings. We also are doing these card decks that are play aids for the game. Like reference cards in a sense. So it'll have like one of them is the tome deck. So it'll have a tome on the front. It'll have some background information, some rules, whatever the effects are, some potential plots for the GM, stuff like that, designed to help kind of help you at the table, so you don't need to be thumbing through a book every time.
That's cool. Is that for like you find a ancient book of things man was not meant to know, that
Right.
kind of stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could randomly deal one out, or you could have one pre-selected and know what you're trying to do.
Right, that's really handy as a GMing tool. I love that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, it's something we've done in the past, and we really like it.
yeah, I see that you've got some custom dice in the works as well.
Hmm. Yep, Black Oak Workshop is doing our dice. They're a little bigger. They're actually 19 millimeter. The average D6 is 16, so they're a little larger. But you only need 3, so you don't. There's not that big a deal. And they glow in the dark. They look great.
Perfect for gaming when the power's out.
Right? Exactly.
Um, yeah. So what's your production timeline look like? Like, when can I expect to hold this book in my hands?
If everything goes according to plan, because it's Kickstarter, so it won't. Something will happen, right? That's always how it is. It should be out by August.
All right. So how'd you get into tabletop games?
I was, I think 11 or 12, played some D&D at Scout Camp, and kind of just got hooked and went from there.
Fair enough.
It's not that exciting of a story,
I mean, it's pretty standard, and that is completely okay.
right? Yeah.
What's your favorite Lovecraft story?
Oh, geez. I'm actually a bigger fan of Robert E. Chambers and his King in Yellow, the Yellow Sign series. That's actually more what I prefer, is that surrealist kind of cosmic horror.
Fair enough.
But I'm a big fan of Robert Chambers, and by proxy, obviously Lovecraft stuff, because they are similar.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to bring up while you're here?
We are funded. We have like 7 or 8 stretch goals down at this point. We have 3 weeks ago, so you got time to get in and support the campaign if you want. It's super affordable and well priced. So hope you come take a look and check it out.
And if you want any of the other books, those are also available as backer kit rewards at the end of the campaign, I
Yep,
believe.
you'll be able in our pledge manager, you'll be able to add any other books we have, and you can also just buy them right now on like Drive Through RPG or our website or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I see you've also got a like tiny noir thing in the book. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Hmm. Yeah, so a lot of people who play the game have asked for Tiny Noir and Tiny Pulp over the years. And as we worked on those, we felt like they didn't need to be their own book. There wasn't quite enough to um, to support that being its own standalone product in a lot of ways, because the horror rules really covered a lot of the elements we wanted, right? So what we did instead is this time we're just rolling them as small subsections into this book to kind of say, here's the stuff you would need for that. It's only, it's only 3 to 5 pages. It's not a lot,
Right.
because the core rule set covers a lot of that just fine.
Right, and it meshes well with Tiny Cthulhu because it tends to take place in like 20s to
Right.
1950s ish.
Right. And we're actually, our micro settings are all over the board. We have everything from cyberpunk and far future to prehistoric. So
I
we're
mean,
actually, I don't think we have a single 1920s, 1930s micro setting at this point.
it's pretty well trod ground, so that's reasonable.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say there that hasn't already been said.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, when you're a caveman, everything's an eldritch horror. So,
That's true. That is true.
um, yeah. Anything else you'd like to bring up while we're here?
Uh, and no, this is great, quick, sweet, to the point. I like it. I dig it.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up then.
Cool.
And for everybody watching at home, have a good night.